Thank you, sir. Good morning. I would like to congratulate Sir Murat, you and your team. It's a wonderful event, and every year it's getting better. I would like to congratulate you and your team for this event. Now, I will try to give you some insight about the Turkish steel pipe industry, and we'll discuss about the current expectations. The industry has started production activities since 1950s, and we've experienced a remarkable growth in the industry. When you pay attention to the last decade of the industry, we can see that in 2005 we had 2.25 million tons of production. Now we have doubled almost the value in 2015, reaching 4.52. And currently, as a capacity, there is a 7 million tons of capacity available in the industry. Now, there are two groups of production running in the industry. Natural gas, oil, and water transmission lines are using the large-scale pipes. And in 2005, there was a 0.5 million ton of production, reaching 1.16 million tons in 2015. And in the other arm, we are mostly speaking about the construction type, small-scale pipes, that is accomplishing 3.36 million tons of production in 2015. The expected production for 2016 is probably a 10% increase because of the demand increase in Turkey. Now, this slide is about the global position. Totally, we are speaking about 95 million tons of production globally. As in other industries, China is an important manufacturer with 57 million tons of production, followed by Russia, 8.22 million tons, South Korea, 6.39 million, Japan, 5.44 million tons of production achieved, and Turkey comes as of course, the figures of 2014, 4.20 million tons, ranking the 5th globally. Excluding China, the position of Turkey in manufacturing of steel pipes is 11% globally. We are manufacturing and we are exporting some of our production. Almost 40% is exported. In 2015, 1.75 million tons of production was there, and 1.75 million tons produced in 2015. What is our position in exports globally? We are ranking the 4th. China comes the first with 4.74 million, followed by Italy 2.69 million, South Korea 1.98 million. Turkey follows South Korea with 1.75 million tons. In total, there is a 25 million tons of welded pipe exports globally, and Turkey has a 7% share. January through September 2015, you can see we've come from 1.35 million tons to 1.25 million tons as of 2016. The first client countries, Iraq, UK, US, Romania, and so on and so forth. In all countries, there is a regression, but the main regression is in our exports to United States, almost 40% of a regression. And for 245 million tons exported last year, and this year 141 million. There are two important reasons. for the decline in the exports to United States, number one is the decline in oil prices. Therefore, we can see that there is a decline also in the shale gas production. Therefore, the shale gas production pipes were not that much demanded last year. This is number one reason. And the second reason is there is a complementary taxation scheme that United States has been applying to 4 types of pipes: standard pipes, oil pipes, line pipes, and also the rectangular thick carbon resistant steel types. There is also different ratios of taxation being applied with, I think, a ridiculous reason they're just using this taxation. Erdemir products that they're using for production, they say we are just exposed to this complementary taxation because we're using Erdemir steel, because they consider Erdemir as a public institution, and that this is considered as some kind of an incentive. They've started this taxation. We've raised an objection. There is a company that's been working for us before the local courts, so the file is before the jurisdiction. Plus, the Ministry of Economy has some initiative that they have taken this to before the World Trade Organization, and there is an application of the ministry to the WTO to end this unfair application. Probably the Ministry of Economy will have a successful result in that. For the imports, our exports reached 246,000 tons with a 103% increase, mainly because of TANAP project. You know, last year in Turkey we started the TANAP project, and within the framework of TANAP project, 80% of the project was assigned to 6 local companies and 20% assigned to a Chinese company. Therefore, there was a significant increase from our imports from China. Last year, in 2014, we had 10 million tons, but this year 125 million. And in 2016, again, the imports from China still persist with 75 million tons, but next year there will probably be 125,000 tons after the end of the TANAP project.
Evet, TANAP projesi.
Now, also would like to give you some information about TANAP project, Trans-Anatolian Natural Gas Pipeline Project. Now, because it's really an important project with some implications over our industry, it is a total of 1,850 kilometers of a pipeline. From Azerbaijan to Europe, there will be a natural gas transmission thanks to the project. Almost 31 billion cubic meters of gas passage, and 7 billion will be used in Turkey, and the rest will be exported to Europe. There will be 1.2 million tons of steel pipe to be used approximately during the project. In 2015, some of the pipes have been delivered, and in 2016 it's still ongoing, and the project will continue its delivery of the pipes until May 2017. The biggest reason for the increase in production is the TANAP project. Now, for the sector, really a remarkable factor is the use and consumption of hot flat products, and they are being used as raw material in Turkey. For 4.5 million tons of production, there is a 5 million tons of utilization of the flat product. Therefore, a favorable supply of the flat products is extremely important for competitiveness of the sector. In 2015, the hot flat products manufacturing was 8.25 million, and consumption was 12 million tons. In 2015, the production was not sufficient, therefore we had to import. Why is the reason? I mean, because Veysel says there is a very high capacity and it's being underutilized. Last year particularly, the facilities that were producing from scrap were not competitive, and we think that's the essential reason for the lack of capacity, and that is mainly the reason for importation. But because of the differences in prices, the facilities producing from scrap now can become competitive. Maybe in this situation production can increase a bit. As the industry, we think always to use, and we're always willing to use local production. No one wants to deal with imports, because if you import, there will be a delivery problem, and at the same time you have to deal with all the importation procedures. Also, you have to deal with the permits for local processing. Rather than taking care of these procedures, it would be our preference always to supply locally. But of course, particularly speaking for exports, you should be able to provide favorable raw material so as to be competitive. So as to be competitive, of course, you should be able to supply raw material from the global markets. Now this slide shows us the hot flat product prices as of the new year. As of the start of 2016, $315 was the price applicable for the hot rolls in Turkey, and from Ukraine the same prices was 270. Currently it's the same. When you look, it's 510 in Turkey, and it's down to 473 in other countries like Ukraine. Always the local prices are slightly higher than international markets. The reason for that is the 9% customs duty applicable to the import of the flat steel. Another thing is, if you pay attention to May, the prices of Turkey are marked with the red line, and between Turkey and the other prices, the global prices, there is 100% difference. So the prices increased even further in May. The reason for that is in January, you know, last year, flat product producers started an investigation, and as a result of this investigation, early January, there was the decision for applying a dumping margin for 4 countries, following which a significant increase was experienced in prices. As of February until May, the prices increased even further in Turkey. The explanation to that is, if you take protective measures, of course, the prices in the local markets would always increase. Therefore, we always say that the 9% customs duty is a factor that applies a factor for increasing the local prices. And of course, the flat product producers say that they're, of course, coping with dumping. Whichever country is there, if you should take some measures against it, but the 9% customs duty should be lifted. Now, at the current point, the companies that are producing there are quite competitive. Therefore, we do think that production in the local market will be increasing in the future, and we want to use their producer. And our call to the flat steel producers is to approximate their prices down to the prices of global producers, which would be a very good development, not only for us, but I mean for the steel industry of Turkey, but also for the development of the country. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mehmet Zeren, for this wrap-up.
Evet, özür dilerim. Tekrar teşekkürler. Mehmet Bey için soru var mı?
Is there any question for Mr. Zeren? I guess none. Ah, there's one, I think. Hi, my name is Turgut Kırma from Erdemir. Thank you very much for this presentation. TANAP project, it was a distinct project, but the production of the TANAP pipes, I think, should have been completed. Is there a new project that you would expect to come in play and affect this sector? The second question is about the capacity utilization rates for the spiral pipe production. Seems to be lower than the regular pipes. Is there any action that you are planning for the spiral pipes? TANAP project was okay, but it's over. What is the key for increasing the capacity utilization rates for the spiral pipes? Now, as an project, Turkish project will be coming from Russia, but some of it will be through the sea. And locally there will be a 400-kilometer distance to be covered in Turkey. Maybe this would have a slight contribution. Other than that, locally there will be some drinking water and natural gas projects to come and play next year. Probably will bring along some contribution. Now, for increasing the capacity utilization, as you said, the spiral welded pipes have a significant capacity, but with an underutilization of capacity. Therefore, the producers are mostly forcing international markets. Thank you. Any other question for Mr. Zeren? Mehmet Çakmur in Anka. Now, as the fourth, Turkey is listed as the fourth or the fifth exporter. Is there any kind of unit price comparison with the other exporting countries? What is their unit price and what is ours? Do you have that comparison? No, we have that, but not currently available, I'm afraid. I know that the prices of China are quite close to us, whereas those of Korea and is just higher. They are producing somehow higher quality products. Are we working on it to produce high quality products? Yes, our producers have been in cooperation with international parties and have been investing in increasing quality of their products. Thank you. I guess we don't have any other question. Thank you very much for your contribution.